What if leadership was never part of the plan? My guest today became an accidental entrepreneur and then found herself in some of the biggest leadership roles imaginable, only to find that her inner self doubt never went away. From loneliness at the top to leading transformation without any allies, our guest Kelly Gray talks about all of the challenges that she's faced, including doing what's right when it's not really popular. Welcome back to the Second Voice podcast, where we talk about the conversations that leaders and entrepreneurs don't have out loud. Today, I have an amazing guest with me, Kelly, and we're going to talk about the amazing journey that she's had from selling her own disruptive business here in Perth, moving to the UK and starting a senior leadership role in the UK, and then moving back to Perth and starting again, and what that all means for her, and also what it also means for her for doing things that are right even when they're not popular. So I wanted to explore that with Kelly. But as far as Kelly goes, she is an executive leader and entrepreneur with a background spanning community services, digital innovation, and government leadership. She began her career 15 years ago as a support worker before completing a postgraduate degree in psychology, specializing in transformational leadership. In 2016, Kelly founded a disruptive digital platform in the West Australian care sector and an innovation that quickly gained traction and was successfully sold in 2018. And I was there for that, and it was incredible. It was such a great product. She spent 5 years in senior leadership role in the UK government, and she drove large-scale initiatives across the public sector, which was amazing. And now I'm so glad to say that she's back in Perth and she holds an executive role with a leading not-for-profit organisation, and she continues her mission to create meaningful, lasting impact in the care and community sectors. Kelly, you're amazing. I've been lucky enough to work with you before, and I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad that you've joined me on this podcast. So welcome.
Oh, thank you, Louisa. It's great to be here. Thank you for the invite.
No worries. Well, I thought we'd start because I know who you are, but I thought we could start with tell us a little bit more about your journey. I've given a brief bio, but let's delve into that. Like where did you start? What drove you into all of those different spaces? How did you get there?
Oh gosh, yeah, the ways that life takes you, hey? It's funny, isn't it? So I started my career in community services because I was working in a professional setting in training and education, doing business development, and decided that I actually wanted to be more involved in helping people. So decided I wanted to go to uni and do my undergrad in psych. And that's really what kickstarted my career into community services and into the care sector. So, worked in a various number of fields and sectors whilst doing my undergraduate degree. I often had 3 or 4 jobs on the go at a time, plus studying full time.
Of course you did.
The energy that you have in your 20s is amazing. And did that for a few years. And then when I finished my undergrad degree, I then started working in the aged care sector, which is obviously where we met. Mm-hmm. And I loved working in that sector. And so I feel like my career has evolved naturally over time. And I can't say that it's ever necessarily been intentional. Some bits of it have, obviously, but some things you just go with the flow, don't you?
Yeah.
And your career develops over time and it takes you to wonderful places that you never thought that you would have gotten there at the very beginning.
Yeah. So you ended up an accidental entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And you did that while you were working with me. So you were doing 2 jobs. You were consulting in the organisation that we were both working at, and then you started your own business. You say it's accidental, but, what was the self-talk that was happening for you at the time? Was it driven by need, passion, or, what was driving that?
I think there was an opportunity that was too good to pass up. I saw there was a gap in the market, and it was a new gap that was emerging because of things that were happening at a government policy level. So, you have to strike while the iron is hot with these sorts of things. I think some of the negative self-talk or the uncertainty maybe that I had at the time was, why you? What makes you so good enough to do this? And I think there was also a bit of someone will do it before you do it, or someone will do it better than you can do it. Yeah. So I definitely remember almost feeling a little bit like, who the hell do I think I am? But it was too good of an opportunity. And I think as well, there was two of us. I had a business partner, and I think having each other to like egg each other on, almost like, let's just go for it. A sort of like a bit of blind optimism almost, I think is what's needed to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and it's like, but also you just live the dream, because every entrepreneur, well, most entrepreneurs, want to have an amazing exit with their business, unless it's a business that they've set up that it's their legacy thing that they just want to have. But like 2 years later, your self-talk's telling me, why me? It's not going to be me. But 2 years later, you sell off that business successfully, which is the entrepreneurial dream, by the way. So, yeah, did you ever in that time, like, how were you countering that voice other than, well, my business partner's spurring me on? Did you ever like shut it down, or did you just allow that voice to settle and simmer by?
I think I noticed it,
Mm-hmm.
and then I thought, well, I'm just going to go for it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's an element of ignoring yourself a
Mm-hmm.
little bit,
Mm-hmm.
because I knew deep down that it was a real thing. That it was a real need in the market, that it could genuinely help people to navigate the care sector. And I think, in most of my career, the customer is centric to why you do things and why you're in business. And that was always my vision, was thinking about the people that were trying to navigate this care system that was changing, was complicated, and often in a time of crisis. That was my main motivation for starting that business. And I knew that they needed something. And I didn't know where it would go. I had a concept, we developed a website, and that was that. But who knows what it could have turned into if we hadn't have sold? Like, it could have become anything. And I think I always would have been driven by what the customer needed. So, yeah.
For those that don't know you, what was the business? We probably should have started with that.
So it was a digital platform. It was almost like a TripAdvisor style website for care. So for aged care, disability, and mental health. So it was a one-stop shop where people could go. They could find information out about those different types of services, how they're funded, how to get access to them, how to navigate the systems that they operate in. And then it also had a directory of every single provider across Western Australia that provided those services. So it was a free service as well for people to access, that they could search by providers based on where they lived, what type of service they wanted. And then there was also an aspect of ratings and reviews as well. And I think that was probably the disruptive bit. It was very uncomfortable for the sector at the time that I was doing that. But again, I'm always driven by what the customer wants and the information that I think they need to make an informed decision.
Yeah. Is that business still going? Do you know?
Sadly, it's not.
Really?
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah. I think it kept going for maybe 6 or 9 months after I sold it.
Okay.
But then, sadly, it's no longer in
That's
existence.
a shame.
But this is the thing, though, when you sell it, it's no longer yours, right? And you have to emotionally disconnect from that.
Yeah. So what made you sell it? Was it the right time, or was it, I know you moved to the UK, was that the deciding factor, or what happened? What was the
universe is a funny thing, Louisa.
Yeah.
So I was just in the process of finishing up my postgrad of psych while I was running the business, and I wanted to move to the UK, but I obviously had this baby that I'd brought life to, right, and was very much in love with. And I happened to be at an event, I think it was the Disability Expo at Crown, and happened to be sitting next to someone who was working for an organisation who wanted exactly what I'd developed. And it was just a chance meeting that ended up culminating in the outcome. And it was perfect for me. It freed me. It allowed me to leave Perth, which is what I wanted to do at that time. And it gave their business an opportunity as well. So it stars aligned. It was meant to be. It wasn't always meant to be mine.
Just the fact that you sat down next to the right person at the right moment,
hey?
That's crazy. So cool. All right, so what took you to the UK? Why the UK?
Oh, well, I actually moved for love.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fell in love.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it is wonderful. And now we're married, so it's all worked out.
It's all worked out great.
So he was in the British Army. He's since left, but he couldn't leave the country. And yeah, as I said, business was selling up. I was finishing my postgrad. Everything was sort of naturally wrapping up, and I thought, now's the time to make a break for it.
And what did you end up doing in the UK for work?
It was a difficult transition
Mm-hmm.
period for me, absolutely. So the first 4 or 5 months were busy looking for work and found it very, very difficult to get a job because I didn't have UK references.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely experienced have been on the other side of maybe some unconscious bias or some discrimination as well. So
Yeah.
that was a really interesting experience to go through. People make assumptions about you, or they make assumptions about Australia,
Mm-hmm.
which was really interesting to see it play out in
Mm-hmm.
an interview setting. But ended up getting a job working in disability.
Okay.
I was managing a supported living service over there. Did that for a few months, and then I ended up getting a job working with homeless people in Birmingham, which I loved. But I wanted something more. I knew I was ready for a leadership role, and that's what I was chasing, and that's what I was looking for. So the job came up at Staffordshire Council, managing all their care services across the county, and I thought, that's it. That's the job I've been waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
So I went for it. And I got it and I loved it. And I was there for 5 years. And I'm very, very proud of the work that I did there.
Amazing. Now, I know from previous discussions, you and I talking about that role, there were some challenges for you. Can you tell me more about that, and also tell me more about the self-talk that went into that transition, going to a new country, some of those biases, and then finding that role? Can you tell us more about that?
I think some of the challenges was I got into the job, and then I think a few weeks in, I realized how much change needed to be done and actually how much was ahead of me in terms of transformational change. So I didn't know that at the time. They never tell you this at a job interview, do they?
No.
This is going to be a very difficult job. But I think I relished the challenge of it. I think some of the things that were going through my head at the time, well, I'll be honest, I had the worst imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've never had that before, but I never even had it when I was doing my own business to some respect. Like,
Really?
it was a lot. I think it's because I was in a different country. I was like working in a different system as well. So like everything that I knew about how things worked looked different as well. And I'd come from working not in government, but, being across government. And so it was almost like behind the curtain, but everything looked different to how you'd expect it to look. So, I think I definitely struggled with a bit of that in the first few months, because I think some of the thoughts that went through my head were, are you good enough? Like, I knew how much work there was to be done. And I guess I was asking myself, can you do this? Are you good enough?
Did you believe that you were good enough?
I didn't know, but I
Yeah.
wanted to find out.
Yeah. So you didn't let it beat you?
No. I was determined. I knew how good things could be if we got to the other side. I didn't know how we were going to get there, but I had the end sight in mind. I had a vision, and that's what drove me, especially through the difficult days.
So what did you do? What did you do to get through that?
I think probably the thing that kept me going, I think the resilience aspect of it is that I knew that everything I was doing was for the improvement of care services in that county, which would ultimately help very vulnerable people to live their best life and to thrive. And again, it always comes back to the customer for me. Like, everything that I did in that job, even though it might not have directly impacted the clients, immediately, a lot of it was workforce changes and job design and org design stuff. But all in that, in the end goal was to make things better for the people of Staffordshire.
Mm-hmm.
And in some respects, I look back on it and I think, well, I'm really proud of it. I almost see it like a bit of, that's my legacy. I had 5 years there, and I was able to do a lot of things in 5 years. A lot of people didn't think I'd be able to do what I did, because people had tried before and failed or given up because it was taking too long. But I think I'm a bit of a dog with a bone with stuff like that.
Yeah. Amazing. I mean, that's That's such a great story because I know that you had to make some hard decisions there too, right?
Mm,
And in that time, when you were making hard decisions, with organizational change and role
mm.
restructures and all of that, a lot of the time that's unpopular.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely
so
was.
you're not only dealing with your voice of, can I do this? But then you're dealing with the external uproar.
Mm.
You know, what was happening? Did you have people supporting you or were you isolated? Were you doing that on your own?
There was times when we are going through the restructure that I was very isolated. So the restructure touched everyone except for me.
Mm,
And so yeah, there was definitely some lonely days where, you think, oh God, I just don't know. I just don't know how this is gonna all turn out, and you have to like have a plan and take a chance on
mhm,
it. And there's an aspect of being thoughtful and planned out and collecting information. And then there's also an aspect about trusting your instinct
mhm.
as well. And I couldn't be able to quantify the balance of it. But yeah, it's definitely that saying is lonely at the top. I never really understood it until I was in that moment. And I was like, oh, I see what they're saying.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's an awful feeling, that realization. I've been there, that feeling of lonely at the top, and you
Yeah.
can be surrounded by people, surrounded even by supportive people, but it still can be very, very lonely because it's all on
Absolutely.
you, especially when you're
Absolutely.
making big decisions like that, right?
Yeah.
It's,
Absolutely.
it's hinging on you've made this decision and now you've got to own it and
See it through.
see it through.
And it could all go terribly wrong.
It could all go
And that
terribly
will be
wrong.
on you.
Well, thank goodness it didn't.
Yeah, I know.
So all the people that were left and after you were leaving, how did they react to you after all that time? Did everyone realize it was a good choice that you made at the end, or?
I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I had lots of verbal confirmation of that by the immediate teams around me. I think it's one of those things as a leader in that you don't very often get thanked as a leader. It's quite a thankless job. And sometimes the only feedback you ever get is negative as
Mhm.
well. So you have to have a really strong resolve because you're never really going to you don't often get that validation, that
Mhm.
external validation. Um, but I always think a tell of how well you've done in a role as a leader is when you leave,
Yeah.
and it's how people react. And you won't know until the moment comes. And the amount of support and love and appreciation that I got when I left was truly heartwarming for
Yeah.
me because that's how I knew that I'd done a good job. I was good enough.
Yeah. Isn't it wild that that happens, right?
Mm.
And I know exactly what you mean there too. But also, it gives you that little boost
Yeah.
into the next role.
Yeah,
And
the
you're like, okay,
confidence.
yeah, like that was really hard, but I came out and everyone was okay. And in
Yeah.
fact, everyone was happy.
Yeah.
And yeah, that can be really reassuring.
Mm.
But also so challenging because in those 5 years, how nice would it have been to hear some of that, right? Like to keep you going. So as a
Yeah.
leader,
Yeah.
you've got to dig deep to find that voice that keeps you going through that without the external validation, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I do think, sometimes your allies are hidden
Mhm.
as well. For whatever reason, they're not necessarily going to outwardly say it. But so I used to do 360-degree feedback. And I remember one year, and it was when we were going through the restructure, someone wrote in their feedback, keep doing what you're doing. And it was completely anonymous. So
Mhm.
I had no way of knowing who it was. But, it's little moments like that that you think, I'm onto something here.
Yeah. We're doing okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. You talked about strong resolve in leadership.
Mm,
What does that sound like for you?
what does it sound like? I think it's quietness when it all gets very loud
Mhm.
around you, like that inner quietness and calm, and being able to silence yourself a little bit and maybe others
Mhm.
as well. And being able to separate what belongs to you, particularly if you're getting like some negative feedback or whatever it might be, what of that belongs to you and what of that is because of what came before you. And being able to know where to draw the line on that, and being able to know what to take on and what to not take on. And sometimes you've got to shake it off.
Yeah. So you talk about, yeah, it's like lonely at the top, but it's also noisy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not only noisy from everyone telling you their opinions and what they hate and what they think you need to change, but it's noisy on the inside. Am I
Yeah.
doing the right
Yeah.
thing? Can I do this? It's the noisiest job. So I just love that you say like just quiet, you know. Somebody I know calls it sit in peace. Sit in peace,
Yeah, I
right?
like that.
Yeah, I like that. So you didn't get there through lack of self-doubt, right? So it's shaped you a little bit. Um, do you see self-doubt as a weakness, or is it something that people can harness?
I think if you want to be in leadership, it comes with the territory.
Mhm.
I think if you want to do something brave and something different and something new, it comes with the territory, because not only will you get self-doubt, but you probably get doubt from others around you as well. I don't see it as a weakness at all. I don't know if it shaped me, but I think the experience of working through it and pushing on regardless shaped me.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mm.
It's that resilience piece too, right?
Mm.
It's you build confidence through doing.
And you just got to back yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's 100% true. Because if you don't, who does, right?
No one will.
Nobody does. Well, hopefully your
Yeah.
husband will.
Yeah, of
Hopefully.
course. Yeah, of
The one that
course.
you followed to the
Yeah.
UK hopefully
Yeah.
will back you
Of
too,
course.
right?
Yeah.
All right. So now you're back in Perth. You're in a senior leadership role again. And, has it brought new challenges, new self-talk, new doubts, or are you feeling more confident than ever?
I'm definitely not feeling more confident than ever. I think it's a funny one, because you come back home, right, and some things are familiar. But I was gone for 6 years, so a lot of things have changed, and particularly in the sector that I work in, a lot has changed. A lot of the people that I used to know have moved on and doing different things. So it felt like starting again.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's probably been one of the challenges for me, is reorientating myself with a bit of who's who in the zoo, but also what's going on, what's been happening the last 6 years, all the things that I've missed out on, all the context that I don't have. I have the history, but I don't have the currency. So
Yeah.
it's catching up
Mm-hmm.
on that.
Has it felt like starting in you're in an executive role, but has it been felt like starting in leadership all over again in a way?
Um, I wouldn't say it feels like starting over, because I think you bring the wisdom and the experience
Mm-hmm.
from your last job
Mm-hmm.
into the next one. And I think that all of the things that I did in that job, coming into the next job afterwards, has made me realize the breadth of the things that I did, which I didn't really appreciate. I just did what needed to be done. And then I come into an organization where it's like, oh, no, it's okay. We've got someone that can do that. We've got a team that does that. I'm like, oh my God, this is wonderful. Like, I've actually got people that I can draw on. This is wonderful. And I've got a lot more expertise in the room, and, this is fantastic. So I don't feel like it's necessarily starting again. I feel like it's coming home to a different time. And I'm a different person as well.
I can attest to that. You've come back different, but in a good way. And you've grown in that
Yeah,
time, right?
evolution,
So
right?
you've evolved and you've grown in that time. So obviously that's the case, right? What are your challenges now?
Well, that's a really good question.
Your internal ones. Is it still
Mm,
self-doubt?
I think there's always a little bit of that, yeah. Because it does feel like a new context that I'm working in again, and I'm having to. I got so used to working in the UK system, and now I have to come back and relearn the Australian system and how things work and all the rest of it. So, but I'm getting there. It's still like muscle memory,
Yeah.
I think some of the internal challenges are, maybe a little bit of self-doubt in, and it's not, can I do this? Because I know I've done it before. I think it's more about, okay, so what's the best way to do this? And sometimes a little bit of like, just because you did it like that before, Kelly, doesn't mean that you should assume that that's the best way to do it this time. So it's like questioning yourself a little bit. if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And different types of, it's a different culture, and different people and like to be led differently.
Yeah.
Was that a shock to the system too, how people like to be led in a different place? Or did you find it very transferable?
I did find it very transferable. One thing that I particularly like about coming home, what I found very refreshing, is the level of professionalism that Australians have at work.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I always took it for granted.
Wow, I wasn't expecting to hear that one. Really?
Yeah.
In what way? Like just in the way they turn up or,
Yeah, the way they turn up, the behaviours,
Wow.
the way they conduct themselves, the way they treat people.
Wow. Well, there's
So,
something I didn't know.
Yeah, be proud Aussies.
Yay. To anyone listening overseas, we love you too.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are in Australia. We love it here. All right. Well, you've been on quite a journey. Do you think you'll ever go back to entrepreneurship? Does it still call you?
Oh, I'd love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been wanting to go and have my own businesses since I was in my 20s, and I've had lots of kooky business ideas over the years. My choice was just one that stuck.
Yeah.
But I definitely think I'll do it again. I just don't know what it is or what it's going to look like. But
yeah, you think you're an entrepreneur at heart?
I think so.
It's a different kettle of fish again, right? Like from leadership roles to entrepreneurship. I've been on my entrepreneurship journey now for 9 years. I loved the leadership space. I absolutely loved it. But coming into my own business space, it's a whole different world. And I think you either love it or hate it. You're going to sink or swim. So, yeah, I just love it. What do you love about each of those?
I think what I love about being an entrepreneur is your fate it feels like it's in your hands. Like your success is based on your input, and that's something that you've got control over.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what I find most refreshing about it, because I like working hard. I like getting outcomes and getting results, right? I get a lot of satisfaction out of that. I think what I love about leadership, funnily enough, it's the people stuff. And I think that's a bit that you miss from being an entrepreneur, particularly 100%. If like you're lone working in your own business sort of thing. I think the bit I love about leadership is working with teams, supporting teams, building capacity, building capabilities. That stuff really inspires me.
Got to build a business that employs people.
Well, this is it. That's the dream,
That's
isn't
the
it?
dream.
Yeah.
That's always been my dream, to be able to grow big enough that I'm employing loads of people. And that would be amazing. So getting there slowly but surely.
Good.
Okay, so tips for emerging leaders, who are maybe going through some of that self-doubt or thinking about a career where they want to be in senior leadership roles, who have self-doubt, who have that self-talk that might be telling them, why me? Other people are better than me. Like any tips at all around, for emerging leaders wanting to step into leadership?
Yeah, so I had to think about this today and I made some notes. So I think if you want to step into this space, you almost have to accept that self-doubt and that imposter syndrome is inevitable. So be prepared for it. Think about it before it happens and think about how you might deal with it, like expect it. I think that might help people prepare. I think the other thing as well is there's also an aspect of knowing it's going to come and knowing you have to sit with it and being able to tolerate the uncomfortableness of it. The other thing I sort of reflected on was sometimes it's almost like that fake it till you make it bit. If you stay outwardly confident, people will trust what you're saying and you will inspire people. No one knows what's going on inside your head, right? No one can read your mind. So it's only you that knows that. So if you just project that confidence, things will actually happen. I think if you project the fact that you have doubt or fear, it's a self-licking lollipop, isn't it? It's not going to result in the outcome that you want. So I think that's always been a bit of a mindset that I've had. Just figure it out as you go, because you will.
And also, hot tip, most leaders are doing that.
literally. Most business owners are doing it.
100%.
A lot of the times in your business life, you deal with novel situations, that things that haven't happened before. Maybe things similar might have, but this exact situation has never happened before and will never happen again. So in that respect, everything's novel. You just got to be able to roll with it.
100%.
Yeah. And then I think as well, it's, I think when it comes to making difficult decisions and being in leadership, do your research, get your information, be practical about and pragmatic about things, but then back yourself as well. So if you've done the work, if you've done the thinking, and you believe that's the best thing to do, back yourself.
Because what's the worst thing that's going to happen? It doesn't go right, and you learn from it.
And you learn from it, exactly. Yeah.
That was a huge lesson for me. It's like, in my early leadership years, there was this real fear of failing. And, not failing itself, but failing in front of others. And then I thought, what's the worst thing that can happen out of that is actually I'm going to learn a lesson and next time it will be 100% better. But you've got to let go of that perfectionism or feeling like as a leader that you need to be switched on all the time and know all the answers. And when you let go of that, things actually flow a bit more, don't they?
And a lot of the time, there's probably smarter people in the room than you.
100%. There's always. Or you know somebody who knows somebody who's smarter than you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think, being curious and that vulnerability piece, I think, is really important. And one of the mantras I had for myself when I had my own business was done is better than perfect. Doesn't matter if you're not perfect, you're out there in the world, you're putting it out there and you're doing something.
100%. And you learn and people give you feedback.
Yeah.
And then
they do.
You make changes.
Yeah.
And that's what you do, right?
Pivot.
Yeah.
Like that Friends episode.
It's the Friends episode.
No, he's moving the couch. Pivot.
Amazing. I mean, I want to touch on what you said earlier too around, fake it till you make it and being confident and showing people confidence. People start to trust you. How do you balance that personally with also authenticity and, also not lying that if you don't know something, you don't know something. So where's the balance there for you?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think it's, when you have to be honest about what you don't know. I mean, there's ethics that come into these things all the time. I think it's just being honest about what you don't know, but being confident that you can, I'll find that information out or I'll go and speak to someone. We'll figure this out.
Yeah.
Look, I don't have all the answers right now, but together we'll sort it. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
And it's having that confident response that people go, oh.
It's somebody's onto it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. And I'm glad you said that because I think that sometimes the message of fake it till you make it can be misinterpreted by you've got to pretend you know everything. And I love that you're like, actually, it's not pretending you know everything. It's being honest about, I don't know the answer here, but we're going to find out. And this is what I need you to do. And this is what I'm going to do. And then people feel like it's in control.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though in your mind you feel very out of control because you don't know the answer.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. I think as well, it's like it's steadying the ship, It's like, it's going to be okay. We're going to sort this out. We'll figure it out. We'll get it sorted.
Yeah.
People go, oh, okay. All right. I mean, you don't know that.
Yeah. You're going to try though.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And if you don't, you can say, I did try and these are the things I did and now this is what I'm going to do next, right?
Yeah.
So it's always about knowing what you're going to try next and showing that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Well, you've had a super inspiring journey. I love that you're back. I'm happy that you're back because I think Perth deserves you. And I'm so glad that you're still working this place. And I look forward to seeing what new ideas you pop up. And knowing you're going to be working a senior leadership role and starting your own business and juggling all sorts of things and doing amazing jobs. So I look forward to hearing more of that. And maybe when you start your own business one day, I'll bring you back on the podcast and we can talk about that.
I'd love that.
Yeah, that'd be really, really good. But for those listening, if they want to get in contact with you, if they feel inspired by you or want to know you, if they want work in the same sector as you, how can they get in touch with you?
Probably the best thing is through LinkedIn.
Yep.
Just look me up on LinkedIn.
Great. I'll add the links to the podcast to Kelly. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining us. Always a pleasure. So what I got out of today, starting at the top doesn't mean you don't have any skills. And sometimes you're going to be making decisions as a leader that aren't the most popular decisions, but you've got to stand by your convictions and back yourself, as Kelly says, because that second voice that's saying, nope, I believe in the decisions I'm making here is what's going to get you through. And it needs to be a little bit louder than the self-doubt and a little bit louder than all the noise you hear around you when you're a leader. So thank you again. And we will see you next time on the Second Voice podcast. Take care. Bye.